All right, guys. So over the last few months, we have definitely covered our fair share of Moondrop true wireless earbuds. They're a Chi-Fi company that's usually more focused on IEMs, but with the amount of true wireless earbuds that they've released lately, you can definitely tell that they're trying to make a name in this market. And they've also kind of stuck to a similar theme when it comes to the design. So with the release of their newest true wireless earbud, which is the one we're checking out today, and that is the Moondrop Moca, this one I was very interested to check out for a number of reasons. One, it's a hybrid active noise canceling pair of earbuds, so I'm always curious to see how well noise canceling can be, especially when we're talking about like the $50 price range. But it's also the successor to the Nico Cake true wireless earbuds that Moondrop released, I would say maybe a year or so ago. So it's definitely replacing a pair that I feel like was fairly popular, but they did definitely stick with the same block design when it comes to the case. Now, when you pick up the case, it feels really lightweight, and that is a positive, but it also kind of feels cheap because it just doesn't have any weight to it. Now, these are available in two different colors. I have the gray version here, but it's also available in a brown. So some interesting color choices. It's not like the black and white that we've seen with other brands, but Moondrop's usually pretty good about picking some obscure colors when it comes to their products. Now, as far as the design and the look of the earbuds, this does have a stem style design. It is basically like the other ones that they've released recently, but it does use silicone ear tips, so it's not one of those open ear design earbuds. Now, I also want to point out that Moondrop is usually pretty good when it comes to their packaging, as far as it making you feel like you're getting something very premium or something pretty nice. And the packaging on these, it kind of feels cheap. Again, it kind of looks like it's not something impressive. Now, the theme of this whole video is really going to be don't judge a book by its cover, because it's not really on what's on the outside that matters with this pair. But as far as some of the things on the inside, it is using Bluetooth 5.4, so it does support multi-point connection. So it's easy to just connect to more than one device at a time, and just, if you're watching something on a tablet, you can easily just switch over if somebody's calling you on your phone. So that's convenient. And a big feature on this pair, now this is something that not like everybody is going to be able to take advantage of, because it's going to rely on the device you're connected to, is it supports LC3 codecs. So when it comes to Bluetooth, this is giving you that LE audio, or low energy audio. This is allowing you to get a lot out of your sound quality and it not affect the battery life as much. Like whenever you switch it into LDAC with other earbuds, it tends to drain the battery more, but you're going to get better audio quality. LE audio is one of those that kind of hits the sweet spot. You're not going to sacrifice battery life as much, but you're still going to get excellent sound quality, or at least less compression than some of the other Bluetooth codecs. Now, this pair also has smart sensors, or it's actually what they call photo sensors. All it is when you take them out of your ears, it will pause. And then when you put the earbuds back in, it will just go back to what you're listening to. And usually, this is not a feature that you necessarily see on earbuds in this price range. And then as far as actually using the earbuds, now the first thing you're going to want to do is download the Moondrop Link app. This is a fairly decent app overall. It is kind of bare bones, but what it is going to do is allow you to keep the earbuds updated. There is a gain control. Now, I recommend go ahead and switching this into high gain like right off the bat, and I'll explain this a little bit more once we talk about the sound. And then there's also some EQ modes, but it only tends to really affect the low end. Now, there's like a reference if you just kind of want to dull it down a little bit. There's obviously like an ultra bass mode and some other ones, but my personal favorite is the Solace, or Solus. I don't know how you say it. And I don't know if this is them trying to replicate the bass on their Solus IEMs, which is a very high-end pair. I think it retails for about $2,700. So I do like that they have this in here. You can go within the app to switch around the controls. Now, I do want to talk about this kind of quickly. They do use touch controls, which works extremely well. But out of the box, you don't have control over everything. And although you have the ability to switch around controls within the app, you can't add volume control. So at no point can you have control over everything. Now, if they do update this and allow it within the app later, that would be a huge plus. Now, also within the app, this is where you would turn on that LE audio feature. It is something that it's going to kind of have to like disconnect from your earbuds quickly and kind of connect back to make sure that you're on that connection. You can also go within the app and turn off the smart sensors if you don't want it to pause when you take it out of your ears. And you also can go into the app to basically have it where your earbuds will allow you to switch between noise canceling off, and transparency mode. So that's like the 3 different modes. You don't have to go into the app to switch it into noise canceling or turn it off, but you can switch it whether you want it to be able to do that control from your earbuds. Now let's just go ahead and talk about that noise canceling. And again, I do want you to keep in mind this is a $50 pair of earbuds and not a $300 pair of earbuds, because comparing them to the Bose and the Sonys, which are the higher end when it comes to the pricing, the noise canceling it's not there. Now the noise canceling for a $50 pair of earbuds is actually fairly impressive. It's not going to blow anybody away. I think it's doing just enough when you're in situations like you have an air conditioner unit, or if you're in a car, like kind of dulling out the road noise or the engine noise. Same thing if you're traveling and you want to dull out the noise that's coming from a plane. It's all of those things that have that lower tone. These do a really good job of blocking out. It's just when it comes to people talking, or horns, if you're out and about and you hear traffic, it's not going to block that out as much. So I'm not going to say that I would recommend this pair just based off the noise canceling alone, but I do recommend leaving it in noise canceling mode, which I'll explain once we get to the sound. But when it comes to the transparency mode, I think they did a pretty decent job here. I think if you're just out and about and you need to be aware of your surroundings, it definitely does the job here. I do feel like, if somebody comes up to talk to you, you can definitely carry on a conversation. I just noticed that there's a slight digital noise to what you're hearing. So it doesn't sound as natural as I've heard in some other earbuds. But again, for the price, I still think it's very effective. Now, moving back over to the packaging, or more so what you're getting inside the box, you are getting small, medium, and large silicone ear tips. You are getting a USB-C cable to actually charge these, but the huge plus, and again, because of the price range, this makes it even more impressive, you also have a case that supports Qi wireless charging. So you don't actually have to use that USB-C cable. You can just slap it on any wireless charger and it'll just start charging that way. And then, as far as the charging, moving over to the battery life, I think it's pretty decent overall. It is going to give you 6 hours on the earbuds on a full charge. With the charging case, you can look to get about 21 hours total. And then as far as fast charging, I didn't see any information here. I couldn't find any information where it has fast charging. So do keep in mind it's going to take about an hour to an hour and a half to fully charge these earbuds. Now, if you are going to use these for taking phone calls, I do think the mics on here are pretty decent. I don't think it's the best that I've heard. I think it's, really good, again, for its price range. I think it picks up my voice fairly well, and I also think it does a good job of blocking out my surroundings. But you guys can be a judge by listening to a test here. So here is the mic test using the Moondrop Moca. Again, I am outdoors on a kind of windy day. I know I can hear traffic off to the side over there. There are some birds chirping, so I don't know how much it's actually going to pick up, but this is just to give you an idea of what it would sound like if you were to take a call. So now let's talk about the sound. And to talk about the sound, we need to talk about the drivers that they're using. They are using a 10mm high efficiency, wideband, low distortion dynamic driver. And to kind of sum up what they're trying to do here is they're trying to have something that covers all the range as much as it can without trying to make it sound muddy or congested. It's trying to cut out on any kind of distortion that you could possibly have and still give you that hi-fi audio sound. This again is something that Moondrop is pretty good at. Now, the one thing that I noticed, and I think this goes back to the low distortion, is the volume on these, even with the gain turned up to high, it still needed to get another notch or two louder. I felt like pretty much every time that I was using these through my testing, I always had the volume at max. I don't necessarily want to say that the volume is not loud. It's just not as loud, or actually not even near as loud as I'm used to with other earbuds. And maybe they're doing that on purpose. I'm not sure. But going back to talking about the sound, I need to tell you about the settings that I used, or the ones that I preferred. I had the noise canceling on because I feel like the noise canceling on definitely helped boost the low end quite a bit. And then I went into the app, into the EQ section, and turned the Solus bass on. I felt like that one, just something about it, it had a little bit more space in the bass. It just Felt like I had more room to breathe with the mids and the treble. And then the mids on here, I was extremely impressed with. It definitely felt like it was pushed just slightly forward. It's not trying to be too forward where the vocalist is like right in front of your face, but the vocalists always seem to be just enough in front of the mix. So like, you know, if you're listening to metal or you're listening to anything where there's a lot going on, the vocalist just isn't getting buried in everything. And then when it comes to the treble, it's not an overly bright or overly harsh treble, but it still is very detailed. It's extremely clean. It doesn't get to that harsh sound. It never felt like it was like overly warm because of the low end. It just felt like it brought out all the details the way that it needed to without being overly aggressive about it. So really, to kind of sum up the overall sound is, yes, it is going for that dynamic tuning, but it's not trying to be in your face about it. It's trying to give everything just enough room that it can take advantage of everything and not just make it sound like a muddy mess. And so when it comes to the soundstage and the sound imaging, I was again really impressed in the bass Solus EQ setting, because again, it just made things seem a little bit more open. It didn't make me feel like I was just in a small room. It kind of left me feeling like I was in a pretty large room listening to the music. And being able to tell where sounds are coming from was just never an issue with this pair. So my overall opinion on the Mochas are this. If you can look past the bland design, the lack of volume controls, the lack of high volume just in general, this is again a clear case of don't judge a book by its cover, because noise canceling in this price range is very effective. Having Qi wireless charging on the case on this price range is really nice to have. Also supporting that LE audio, because having that LC3 playback is huge if you have the right device to be able to take advantage of this. And the sound quality overall, in my opinion, definitely competes, if not beats, earbuds that are in that $250 to $300 price range. I just love the way that these are tuned. I love that they can be aggressive without being overly aggressive. And I never felt like they lacked no matter what genre I tested them on. And there's also a gaming mode. I did forget to mention that. So if you are going to use these for different types of media, it's nice that you can switch it into that, so you don't even have to worry about lag. And I think wrapping all of that up in a pair of earbuds that you can get for $50 just makes this one a very easy one to recommend. But guys, that's my video on the brand new Moondrop Moca Hybrid ANC earbuds. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Thank you so much for checking out all the other videos. And as always, make sure to stay tuned for more.